Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is John Campea, and this is a companion video. What are companion videos? Well, I'm awfully glad that you asked. See, every day on the John Campea Show, we save time to take live questions from the audience, but quite often we don't have time to get around to all the live questions that get sent in, but I want to make sure those questions get answered properly, so I gather them up and we address them here in companion videos. So, it is, what day is it today? It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday, May 22nd. I tried a little something for those of you guys who watched the John Campea Show earlier today. It was the one where we talked about the brand new Star Wars Episode 9 pictures, which, how great did those look? I tried something new, just a little bit new on the John Campea Show earlier today. And what I did was, I've been trying to think of ways, because I'm super grateful to everybody who supports the channel, both by being Patreon supporters, by watching the videos, by submitting super chats, by subscribing to the channel. And I've been always trying to find new ways to acknowledge and recognize and tip the cap to people who support the channel. So what I tried doing today on the John Campea Show, and if you didn't watch it, you didn't notice it, obviously, but if you did watch it, you might have noticed that I started having alerts pop up so that when somebody subscribes to the channel, their name would come up on screen. So-and-so just subscribed to the channel. When somebody submitted a super chat, so-and-so submitted a super chat and supported the channel. Like, I've just always been looking for little ways to acknowledge that a little bit more and a little bit better. So I tried incorporating that into the show today. Could you guys give me a little bit of feedback? Was that okay? Did that bother you? Did you find it annoying? Did you think it was a good idea? Did you get a kick out of seeing that? Like, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, because I'm always just trying to find ways to, acknowledge and show my gratitude for people supporting the channel on different levels. So that's what I decided to do today. Let me know if that was okay or if it bothered you. I'm totally open to input on that. All right. With that down and out of the way, let's get on to getting caught up on all the topics from the super chats that you guys sent in earlier today, and there's some good stuff ahead. All right, Tyler Yeats writes, deciding between John Wick 3 and Brightburn this weekend, it's tough. Well, I mean, Brightburn is just opening now. John Wick's been in the theaters for a week. Hopefully you've seen it already. If you've already seen John Wick 3, then I would say get out and see Brightburn. I haven't seen Brightburn yet myself. I cannot wait to watch it. If you haven't seen either yet, make John Wick first, because that's already been out longer. Go see John Wick Chapter 3 first, then go see Brightburn. I'm looking forward to Brightburn there an awful lot. All right, I'm Upset writes, thoughts on the island of Dr. Monroe? You might be the first person that's ever asked that. The one with Marlon Brando, I think it was Val Kilmer that was in that. I think it was, anyway. Awful movie, just absolutely awful. Every bad thing that's said about it is completely deserved, in my opinion. Riaz writes, it's Reyes. Reyes? Have I been mispronouncing? Maybe I have. Has Ann had you try Filipino food? By the way, Ann, no E in Ann. No E, just A-N-N. Anyway, yes, I've had much Filipino food. I'm going to admit, I'm not a big Filipino food fan. However, that being said, we found a restaurant, a Filipino restaurant in Glendale. Now, I live in Burbank, California, and we're right beside Glendale. Like, our borders nudge up against each other. So, in Glendale, only about a 10-minute drive from my place, there's this Filipino restaurant called Fiesta de Barrio. And Fiesta de Barrio, I should say. Fiesta de Barrio. And I'll tell you what, there's a few, again, I'm not a big fan of Filipino food, I admit, but some of the things on their menu are outstanding. They have this garlic fried rice that's insane. Their pork and chicken adobos are fantastic. Their lumpia is out of this world. I really enjoy going to eat there. So, while I'm not in general a big fan of Filipino food, there's some stuff that I really enjoy, and that one particular restaurant we found is just out of this world to me. I love it. All right, The Insight writes, can't find Apocalypto anywhere. If you're talking about streaming, I know I saw it on Amazon Prime. So it may or may not be on Netflix, but I know it's on Amazon Prime. It may be on Netflix, I'm not sure, but if you're looking for a place to stream it, or at least just rent it, Amazon Prime is a good place to check it out. And you can probably find it on any of the rental things as well. If you're having a hard time finding it to stream for free, yeah, I don't know if that's available, but it's definitely available for rent. Okay, by the way, amazing movie. Directed by Mel Gibson. Absolutely amazing. Jeffrey Hawley writes, Have you heard the rumor that Han makes an appearance in episode 9? Thoughts? I wouldn't pay any attention to that whatsoever. Jeff Crow writes, do you consider dumb comedy as a genre? Co-workers talk about Master of Disguise. That is pretty dumb. Tropic Thunder and Superbad, etc. in their own genre. No, I don't consider it a different genre. Comedy is comedy. The goal of comedy is to be funny and to make you laugh. Every comedy does that in a different way. So, I mean, I don't think, look, I wouldn't correct anybody that were to come up and suggest to me that dumb comedy is a subgenre of comedy. I wouldn't try to correct anybody on that. It's all up to the eye of the beholder and your own interpretation, I suppose. But I don't consider that a separate subgenre at all. I think all comedy, the main goal of a comedy film is to get the audience to laugh. And every comedy movie does that in a slightly or more extreme different way. I don't think it changes the genre of it, but again, I think there might be an argument to be made for that, and so I wouldn't correct anybody. Chris Feldman writes, tonight ABC airs a live All in the Family remake using a script, I heard about this, using a script from the old TV show with modern actors in the roles. I'm curious on how it goes over. You know, it's funny, somebody was asking me, maybe about a week or so ago, if I thought like a show like All in the Family would they be able to get away with that show today as it was done back in the day. And obviously, it was a little bit before my time, but I watched reruns of it. No way. No way. So the fact that they're going to do a live taping based on an old script with modern performers, I'm not going to lie to you, that intrigues me a little bit. I'd be very curious, Chris, to see what kind of a balancing act they do with that. So, I mean, I'm going to be out tonight, so I'm not going to be able to watch it live, but I'm going to be curious to watch at least a little bit of it recorded and see how they pull that off, because that's an interesting social experiment right there. That is an interesting social experiment. Thanks for bringing that up, Chris. All right. Jeffrey Hawley writes, over under 35%, Disney releases True Lies on 4K now that they own Fox. Thanks for keeping me company as I drive around delivering for FedEx and your hard work. Well, thank you, Jeffrey, for being along for the ride, man, and letting me come along while you're delivering that stuff. You know, if all the stuff we're hearing is true, and if Disney Plus, because remember we talked about this the other day, that there's McGee apparently is saying that Disney Plus is going to be doing a True Lies television series for Disney Plus that McGee is developing. If that's the case, then why wouldn't you release a Blu-ray or a 4K whatever of the original True Lies movie, if for no other reason than to market and promote the launching of the new show? Why not? I mean, even if you don't think you're going to sell all that many discs, which nobody's selling that many discs these days, why not use that as a platform to promote the new show? So you know what? I don't think it's a lock, and I don't think it's a grand slam, but at 35%, I'll take the over on that because it just seems to make sense to me. I like the idea. All right. Kevin Lewis writes, could we see Doctor Doom or Galactus before a Fantastic Four movie? Absolutely, we could. Now, could we and will we are two separate things. These are characters that are now within the realm of the MCU and Marvel. They can use these characters whenever they want, however they want, and they don't have to have them married to the Fantastic Four should they choose not to. That being said, we're not going to see any of these characters anytime soon. Kevin Feige's already said he's got a 5-year plan. Now, that doesn't mean he can't pepper in some things into his 5-year plan, but I don't expect to see any major bumps. Doctor Doom is probably one they'll keep connected to the Fantastic Four, but he is, like, for instance, in the comics, there have been great stuff between Black Panther and Doctor Doom, right? So you could maybe for a Black Panther 3 bring in Doctor Doom there. And clearly, Wakanda versus Ledveria, I think that's the name of Doctor Doom's country. You could set something up there, all that kind of stuff. Galactus is a galactic level threat. You could have him as a part of Guardians of the Galaxy. You could have him part of, I don't know, just about anything else out there. The Eternals, if you wanted to. You could bring him in there if you so chose. Although they've had that movie in the works for a long time. They're not going to put Galactus in there. So they could, yes. I'd say there's a better chance of Galactus showing up before Fantastic Four than Doctor Doom, but it could happen with either of them. LeBurn007 writes, I have always wanted to own movie memorabilia, but always have been afraid that I will get fake stuff. Yeah. Do you guys know where I can find legit stuff? Oh, that's a good question, man. I really don't know. That would be my big thing as well. Because look, like everybody else, every once in a while I get on Pawn Stars kicks. I'll watch I won't watch Pawn Stars for months, and then I'll watch 5 episodes in one day, right? It's kind of crazy that way. But, they're always seeing fake stuff brought in there. And they always talk making sure you have the paperwork, making sure you have documents of authenticity, but I don't even know what those would look like. So I would say do a little bit of research as to like reputable auction places or whatever that have legitimate stuff. But I got to admit, I would be totally terrified of that as well. I would be completely terrified that you're going to put a big money and end up with something that's not even the real deal. And I wouldn't know the first place to start. But hey, if you find out and get more information, LeBurn, please let me know, because that's something that interests me as well. All right. Vault of the Future writes, just saw John Wick 3 last night. You were so right about the book fight. I know, right? One of the most jaw-dropping moments I've never experienced in action films, probably meant ever experienced in action films. I'm telling you what, this whole movie is just one long continuous, oh my God, screaming moment. I mean, this movie is so thoroughly entertaining, so action-packed. It's some of the best action I've ever seen in a movie ever. I mean, legit. And I'm saying that in the same year that I saw Avengers Endgame. The action in John Wick 3 is absolutely top notch. There is no level above what John Wick 3 did in terms of action. There are other movies that are on the same level, maybe even like a hair above or whatever, but there's no other level above that. You know what I mean? It was the absolutely epitome of what great action in a movie like that could be. Just loved it. I can't wait to watch it like 5 more times. All right. Kevin Lewis writes, Hercules was in Marvel comic books, but MCU, I doubt it. I remember we had a conversation about, actually, I remember me and John Schnepp on a Heroes episode once discussed specifically Hercules. And what John and I both thought was like, I don't know that they'd want to go into mixing mythologies. I mean, Hercules has been used in so many other places because Hercules is nobody owns the rights to Hercules, okay? Anybody can make a Hercules movie. So you can't protect the IP of it. You could be confusing your audience with other iterations of Hercules. Plus, you'd be mixing mythologies, Norse with Greek and all that kind of stuff. And so, I mean, could they use it? I suppose there's a way they could, but I don't see why they would want to be honest with you. That's just my thoughts on it. All right. Shamanth writes, MCU is Earth 199999, comic book is Earth 616, according to Marvel website. Interesting. I'll be honest. I've had a few people mention that. I'll be honest with you, Shamanth. I'll be totally honest with you. And this is an very unpopular sentiment, but it is what I feel. I don't really care because multiverse stuff to me is stupid. That's not to say multiverse stuff has never been used really well. There are examples of when it's been used really well. Just like I don't like time travel in movies, but there are examples of when time travel in movies have been used really, really well. I just in general find the two concepts in filmmaking really lazy and stupid. So while there are a lot of people it's a very important distinction between Earth 199999 and Earth 616. That's very important to some people. To me, I don't care because I find the whole multiverse thing really dumb and weak. But that's just me. And again, let me acknowledge, I know that is the unpopular opinion and some of you are screaming at your computer monitors right now, but it is the way I feel. That doesn't mean I'm right. That's just the way I kind of feel about it. Anyway, Alvin Elmore writes, I heard a rumor that Daniel Day-Lewis is set to play Philippe in a live-action Philippe the Sentient Dancing Microphone movie. Is this true? First of all, I don't know where you heard that from. All I can say is at this point, I am obligated to say no comment. No comment right now on Daniel Day-Lewis's potential. I'm neither confirming nor denying that Daniel Day-Lewis and I have had serious conversations about him starring in a Philippe the Sentient Dancing Microphone. Neither confirm nor deny. That's all I'm going to say. Chris Clow writes, it is always a pleasure to start a rare weekday off work with a live viewing of the John Campea Show. Well, Chris, thank you so much. I'm glad you were able to have the day off, and I'm glad that on your day off, you just decided to spend it with me and the rest of the film fan community. It was good to have you, man. Thanks for sharing that. All right, Richard Sterling writes, what's your favorite movie drama? I've got a bunch of them, but I would probably say Shawshank Redemption. Or Godfather. Yeah, how do you not say Godfather or Godfather 2? Let's put it this way. It's one of those three. It's either Godfather, Godfather 2, or Shawshank Redemption. Those are my three favorite dramas of all time. And, man, it's been a long time since anything's even come close. So those are the ones I'm going to go with. Jason Moore writes, rub a baby, bubby, bubbus. Ha, you didn't know I was going to say that, did you? I'm assuming that's a quote of some sort, and I got to admit, Jason's gone right over my head. I don't know what that one is. I don't recognize that one. All right, Mad1306 writes, the Child's Play marketing has been awesome with the Toy Story posters. I agree. The first one they did was with the stuff torn out of him, Woody, with Chucky walking away, and then the new one is Chucky roasting half of a Slinky dog over a fire. Remember, Toy Story 4 and the new Child's Play open on the same weekend. Child's Play has been taking real advantage of that by playing to the Toy Story, roasting, if you will, on that. Which, by the way, I don't think Disney minds because it's bringing attention to Toy Story as well. This is really true counter-programming. Families are going to go to Toy Story 4. Some other people are going to go see Child's Play. Toy Story 4 is going to wipe the floor with Child's Play at the box office. But that doesn't mean there's not some business there for Child's Play to make, and they're taking real good advantage of that by incorporating the Toy Story stuff. I think it's been really funny and good fun, and I don't even think Disney minds at all because it's been really clever. I've been getting a kick out of it. All right, Amy Smith writes, so excited to hear that my favorite book, The Long Walk, is finally being adapted. Thank you, Rob, for highlighting that on Twitter. Yeah, I heard about that. The Long Walk is a Stephen King, I almost said a Steven Spielberg novel. Since when is Steven Spielberg a novelist? A Stephen King novel, if I'm not mistaken. I honestly don't know much about the book. I really don't. I know Rob reads everything by Stephen King, so he would know a lot more about that. But I've noticed a few people that I know have been getting kind of excited about this news that it's being developed into a movie. Sounds like you are as well, Amy. Too bad Rob's not here right now to talk about it a little bit more in depth and maybe go into what that book's about, because I don't really know anything about it. But I do know it's one of his novels. I know a lot of people are very happy about it, so I'm excited for you, Amy. All right, Ben Rayner writes, the top billing for Always Be My Maybe is surprising. Hope it's not deceiving. Well, I mean, the only top billing I could think of would be Randall and Allie, who are close to the leads. And then if you've seen the trailer, you know who else is in the movie. And that's now, how much of the movie, I'll just tell you, it's in the trailer. Keanu Reeves is in this movie. He's in the trailer. You got to see the trailer. It's awesome. Anyway, if they're putting Keanu Reeves top billing, that might be a little deceiving, making you think he might be in a lot of the film. I have a feeling he's not in a lot of this movie. Again, I haven't seen it, so I don't know for sure. Maybe he is. But I've got a feeling, I think it's more than just a quick cameo, but I don't think he plays a big role in this film. But we'll see. We'll see when I finally get around to watching it. This is the first direct-to-Netflix movie I've actually been quite excited about. I honestly can't remember the last time I was excited about a direct-to-Netflix movie. But I'm really excited about this one just because the trailer was so damn good. All right, David Coca writes, thoughts on the new Aladdin soundtrack? I have not listened to it yet. I can tell you this. I heard the Never Had a Friend Like Me number when I was at CinemaCon in Vegas last month. They played the whole number, and I thought that was great. But I haven't heard anything else from the soundtrack yet, so don't know yet. Jose Hernandez writes, I saw an early screening of Brightburn. Nice. We're going to get to see it soon. I'm very excited about this thing. Even the critic, I expected a movie like this, the critic reviews would be really bad. Last I checked, they're actually pretty good. Last time I checked, it was hovering around 68%, somewhere around there. If it can finish above 60%, that's great for a movie like this. So I know I've been excited about it. I can't wait to see it. All right. Zen TrickZ writes, I always thought that it is not possible to make Silmarillion movies, but I have an idea that you can do it like the MCU. That is the only way to do it. Well, all due respect, Zen, everybody thinks they've got the way to do X story, and it's the only way to do it. I've heard that many, many, many times in this business. So all due respect, you may have a great idea for it. I'm not saying you don't. You may have a great idea for it. But if I had a nickel for every time in this town I heard some creative say, I know how to crack the code on doing this story, and it's the only way to do it. I'm the only one who can crack the code on that. If I had a nickel for every time I heard somebody say that, I'd be a rich, rich, rich dude. But I am not a rich dude because that never really works out. But hey, if you think you've cracked the code on it, good on you. But I bet there are a lot of other people who think they have done it as well. All right. Eric Huffman writes, decided to watch your video from years ago about getting into the online film biz, and it was long overdue. Thanks for always sharing your insight. Hey, awesome, Eric. Look, so what Eric is, I believe, talking about is, I've referenced this a bunch. A number of years ago when I was still at AMC, I put together a 2-hour video on getting started in YouTubing and podcasting and blogging and things like that. And I basically share some of my story about how I developed it, then my tips on how to get each one of those things going, some gear you'll need, some philosophies you're going to need to evolve and things like that. And just because I think more people need to get involved in adding their voices to the online film community. Anyway, that is due for a refresh because it was a number of years ago that I did that. I should remake it, I think, at some point. But I'm glad you came across it, and I'm glad you found it helpful, man. All right. Square Wheel. And by the way, if any of you are interested in checking it out, just search YouTube for John Campea Getting Started. If you search for that on YouTube, it should be the first video that pops up. Okay, Square Wheel writes, I like that name. We've lost so much this year. The OG Avengers, Game of Thrones, Skywalker Saga, Netflix Marvel shows, The Big Bang Theory. I'm not really losing any sleep over that one. Sad year for all of geek kind. Well, I mean, remember, there are still a number of OG Avengers still around. Hulk is still around. Thor is still around. Hawkeye is still around. As a matter of fact, Hawkeye is getting his own series coming out. So there's still a bunch of the OG Avengers around. There's going to be more Star Wars, although the Skywalker saga is coming to an end. Netflix Marvel shows might be coming to an end, but we're getting a whole new slow of Netflix. So, you know, when one thing ends and other things begin. In the words of Mufasa, it's the circle of life. Old things end, but new things begin. We got a lot of very exciting new things coming up. But yeah, Game of Thrones is done. But all good things must come to an end, and then brand new things, brand new great things, start up. And we're in the midst of some really exciting stuff right now. Let's not lose sight of that square wheel. All right. Ismail Edu writes, You're Afraid, I remember. Oh, I know that one. That's from one of my all-time, one of the greatest comic book movies ever made, X-Men Days of Future Past. That's Professor X talking to Professor X. You're afraid? I remember. Oh, Patrick Stewart, love that line. My name is Blue writes, Wonder Girl favorite character in Titans? Yes, in my opinion. Titans to me, I got around to watching it, and Titans was better than I thought it would be, but I still didn't think it was great. I thought it was okay. It wasn't bad. But in most it was okay. I do think, and I suspected I would feel this way going in, but I think Nightwing was my favorite character, or Dick Grayson, I should say. He's my favorite character in it. So if I watch season 2, first of all, if there's a season 2, because they say there's going to be, we'll see. If there's a season 2, I'll probably check it out, if for no other reason, just to check out the evolution of Nightwing as he turns into Nightwing. So I'd be down for that. 1.21 Gilowatts writes, I got to attend a preview event at Galaxy's Edge yesterday. Very exciting. It was amazing, and you will love it. Galaxy's Edge, for those you don't know, is the name of the new Star Wars land at Disneyland. Ann and I have already booked we're going in 2 weeks. We've got our hotels booked. We've got everything. We're going to Galaxy's Edge in 2 weeks. I am very stoked and very excited. I cannot wait for this. My one little bit of trepidation, though, I'm going to admit this to 1.21. See, Ann and I, for a number of years, were seasons pass holders at Disneyland, but it got so expensive, and we weren't going, we were going enough to justify the cost when it was a little bit less expensive. But as it got more and more expensive, we just realized we're not, we got to go. It used to be if you went twice, you were more than getting your money's worth out of your season's pass. But then it got to the point that you needed to go 4 or 5 times to make it worth the cost of a season's pass. And we thought, well, we don't know if we're going to go that many times in a year, even though it's only about an hour and a half up the road from where we live. So a couple of years ago, we decided not to renew our season's passes. The season's passes have just gotten more expensive. And my fear right now is that I'm going to go to Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland and then walk up to their season's pass office and just hand them my wallet and say, take whatever out of that you need to give me another season's pass again. Because to get one of the higher level ones, it's pretty damn expensive. I think it was like close to $1,500. And if I like Galaxy's Edge, and I'm not a Potterhead, but I love the Wizarding World of Harry Potter at Universal Studios Hollywood. Love it. If Galaxy's Edge is even half the experience that the Wizarding World of Harry Potter is at Universal, I'm just going to give them all my money. I know I am. I'm just going to hand them my wallet and say, take everything out of it that is there. Take my bus pass, take my passport, take my green card, take all my credit cards, take all the cash, take a picture of Anne that I've got. You can take that too. Take whatever you need to take out. And please, sir, give me a 1 year, because I'm going to be there every freaking day. There are going to be days that you guys will be expecting me to do a John Campea show, and I'll be like, oh guys, I'm so thick. I'm very thick today. I can't do a John Campea show today. I'm so sorry. I'll talk to you guys later. And then 20 minutes later, you'll see pictures of me on Instagram at Disneyland at Galaxy's Edge. Yeah, that's probably going to happen. I'm not proud to admit that. I'm a little embarrassed by it. But it is nonetheless the truth, and I will always give you the truth. So yeah, I'm telling you what, man, I'm so excited, but I'm so terrified of me just having to hand over all my money to them, because I will probably do it. All right, Daniel M writes, do you think we will see Hayden Christensen in Star Wars Episode 9? Popular question, comes up a lot. You know, I would normally say no, absolutely not, but at Star Wars Celebration Orlando, not the one they just did in Chicago, but at Star Wars Celebration Orlando 2 years ago, the unthinkable happened. Hayden Christensen was at Star Wars Celebration Orlando and was interviewed on stage, and the reception people gave him was awesome. Good Canadian kid. The reception he got was wonderful. Warm feelings all around. Now, does that mean he's going to come back? No, it doesn't mean he's going to come back. But it would make me go, instead of saying it's impossible, it would make me go, I wouldn't die of shock if he did. I still don't think he will. I don't think he will, but after he made that appearance, I don't think you can say it's impossible. So I'm not expecting it, but I won't die of shock if he does. Let's just put it that way. CJ Adams writes, over under 14%, Luke and all Force Ghosts defeat Palpatine. That's not a little cheesy. I'll take the under on that. I'll take the under on 14%. I wouldn't say zero. I'm not going to say zero, but I will take under 14% on that. Christian 301291 writes, hey crew, greetings from Germany. Well, greetings, sir. Love the show. Thank you so much. First super chat today. Do you think we will get a Chris Hemsworth cameo? In the Loki Disney Plus series? Good question. I'm going to go ahead and guess no. I'm going to guess no. I don't think we're going to see that. Now, look, with all the other talent popping up in the other shows, remember, they just announced that Daniel Bruhl is reprising his role as Zemo, and Emily Van Camp is reprising her role as Sharon Carter in the Falcon and Winter Soldier show. So it's not like they're not bringing in high-profile cameos. Chris Hemsworth is a little bit, he's like OG Avenger though. Like, I don't know. I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to guess no, they're not. But much like the Hayden Christensen question, I'm going to say it's certainly not impossible. And I think hearing the inclusion of Daniel Bruhl and Emily Van Camp in Falcon and Winter Soldier, I think that increases the possibility. I'd still say unlikely, so I'm going to say no. I'm going to guess no. That's my guess. It's possible, but I'm going to guess no. All right, Nerds of Porn writes, John, Kawhi. No, Kawhi Leonard has been a beast. Just a beast these playoffs. The Raptors tied up the series with the Bucks. I still don't think they're going to get by the Bucks, my Raptors. But, I mean, they tied up the series, and it looked like they were going to get run out of town. Now, somebody asked me the other day, do I think the Bucks are going to sweep them? I said, no, they're not going to sweep them. But I'm still guessing they're going to win. But Here's the thing about Kawhi Leonard, though. I mentioned this the other day. I'm not going to get too excited about Kawhi Leonard because the fact of the matter is, yay, he's a Toronto Raptor right now, but he's not going to be a Toronto Raptor next season. Everybody knows that. He's going to come back to Los Angeles. This is where he's from. This is home for him. He's either going to go to the Lakers or probably more likely the Clippers. He's coming to LA. He was a one and done in Toronto, unfortunately. He was worth everything they had to give up to get him because of this iconic, fabulous, dreamlike run they're on. But he's a one and done in Toronto, unfortunately. Kawhi. Ben Rayner writes, don't forget Sir Patrick Stewart played literally in Emoji Movie. Why? That's easy money. Yeah, he did. But, and I think what you're probably referring to is the topic from earlier today on the John Campea Show about Michael Pena. Because we were asking, look, Michael Pena is the freaking boss, man. I love Michael Pena. He's awesome. But he's been making some questionable career decisions, like Chips. I'll never understand him being in Chips. But, he's in that upcoming awful-looking Dora the Explorer movie. Now he's going to be in Tom and Jerry. It's just some questionable things. I thought, why would a guy of his caliber, of his insane talent level, slum it a little bit and be in movies like that? Now, you mentioned Patrick Stewart playing shit. Yeah, but the difference is, for that, Patrick Stewart literally, for 1 hour, had to show up to a sound studio somewhere, walk into a booth, put on headphones, and read a couple lines into a microphone and be out of there before lunch. That was it. And collect a very easy paycheck. It's different starring in these movies and taking up, 8 weeks of your time per movie. So I don't know. So who knows? Tom and Jerry might be the next Lord of the Rings for all I know. Maybe Tom and Jerry will be outstanding and he read that script and he's like, oh my God, everybody's gonna be so surprised when they see this. Maybe. We'll have to wait and see. And maybe Dora the Explorer will be great. It's not going to be great, but maybe it'll be great. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Let's see. Nerds of Porn writes, Conor wants Khabib rematch, another Ronda outcome. Oh yeah, Conor, look, I told you guys this going into the first fight. Conor McGregor has no chance against Khabib. None. Khabib, he's not in the same league as Khabib. Very few fighters are. And Khabib beat the guy by doing stand-up with him. And he was beating him at stand-up. But once Khabib decides, okay, I've had enough of this, this is the same kid who was literally wrestling bears when he was like 12 years old. When he decides, I've had enough, he's going to put his hands on Conor, drag him underwater, and choke him out. That's what he's going to do, and he's going to do it at his leisure. Conor McGregor has no chance against Khabib, and Conor knows it. But Conor also knows that that's the biggest paycheck. He'll make good money with any fight he does because he's Conor McGregor. But he knows the big money is to have another fight against Khabib. So he's going to lobby for that fight. I don't think he should be given it. But I don't know, maybe Khabib just feels like beating him up some more, in which case, fine. But Conor McGregor has no chance. No chance against Khabib. Khabib is the baddest man on the planet. He is the best. Pound for pound, he has no equal. He has no equal in the UFC. That includes Daniel Cormier. That includes John Bones Jones. That includes, you name it. Any weight class, anywhere. Pound for pound, Khabib is the baddest man on the planet. And he'll make fairly easy work of Conor McGregor again. Anyway, Morris Codes writes, remember when The Rock was doing all those contract movies? Maybe Pena is in the same situation. The difference is The Rock wasn't yet The Rock at the time. The Rock was still that wrestler trying to make it in the movie business. That's who he was at the time. Michael Pena is respected. He's world-class talent. He's all that kind of stuff right now. So I don't really see those as being similar situations. I don't see those being the same. I mean, who knows? Maybe it's just a contractual thing. Maybe. But I don't know. If I had Michael Pena under contract, I ain't wasting his contract on Dora the Explorer and Tom and Jerry. I'm telling you that right now. Anyway, Sujith writes, is Need for Speed considered a video game movie? I don't think it's considered anything else. I don't know that there's anything else you could consider it. It's not very, true to the video game by any stretch of the imagination, but Need for Speed isn't anything else. It is only a video game, and that's it. So I would say yes, it's probably considered a video game movie. Lone Wolf X6 writes, there are no strings on me, Leonard Snart. Man, I'll tell you what, I stopped watching Legends of Tomorrow. Now, I didn't stop watching it when Captain Cold or Leonard Snart left the show. But him leaving the show was one of the big reasons I stopped watching, because it just was not the same show without him. I'm not saying there's nothing redeeming about the show. I'm not saying that at all, but it was just a different show after he left. And I haven't watched any of this season. I know they just had their season finale. I haven't watched this season at all. I watched it up to the end of last season, and then I tapped out. I tapped out on it. And his absence is one of the big reasons why. Razor's Edge Frisbee writes, The Lighthouse getting great reviews from Cannes, and specifically, Robert Pattinson is getting rave reviews for his role in it. The movie does look badass and great, and I'm very excited to see it. Suthius writes, Hi, Freeze, I'm Batman. Geez, not a good Batman. Yeah, not a great Batman movie, which is really too bad, too, because you had the Cloon. You had George Clooney playing Batman, one of the biggest stars in the world, playing Batman. And they squandered it. You had two of the biggest stars where you had him and you had Arnold Schwarzenegger, and you completely squandered it. It's such a shame. Manny Garcia writes, Nolan's next film, Tenet, being described as an action epic evolving from the world of international espionage, sounds super exciting. Love spy movies. I love spy movies too. And again, going back to the aforementioned Robert Pattinson, it's going to star Robert Pattinson. If anybody has any doubts about the job that Robert Pattinson could theoretically do as Batman, then all you need to know is that the guy who directed the greatest Batman movies ever, Christopher Nolan, just cast that guy to be the lead in his new film. That should be all the convincing you need. That should be all the convincing you need. Doesn't mean he's going to be good, but it should give you all the convincing you need to give him the benefit of the doubt. If Christopher Nolan says this guy's great and I'm going to make him the lead in my own movie, that should be good enough for us. Doesn't mean it's going to work out. It's not 100% sure, but we should at least give him the benefit of the doubt on that basis alone. All right. Suthius writes, fandom before Endgame. Captain Marvel is too overpowered. She better not kill Thanos. Fandom after Endgame. What the hell? She was barely in the movie. Yeah, and there were a lot of people who were barely in the movie. Remember all the controversy about Okoye being on the poster and name being in the top billing, stuff like that? Okoye should not have been on the poster. Only because she's barely in that movie. She has, 3 lines in the movie and out. You can make a strong argument that Captain Marvel was part of the whole thing about going to get Thanos at the beginning. She had a bigger role, but you could almost make an argument that Captain Marvel shouldn't have been on the poster. I understand it wasn't an artistic decision, it was contractual obligations, I get it, but you could make an argument that she shouldn't have been on the poster. You can make there are several people in this movie you can make an argument they shouldn't have been on the poster because some of them really are not in the movie very much at all. Just saying. All right, Suthius writes, my friends are recommending Chernobyl. Can't wait. Dude, I'll tell you what. I've been all about wanting to see this show ever since I saw the first marketing for it. I haven't got around to watching it yet. I think they're on episode 2 now at some point. Everybody I know who's seen episode 1 says it's amazing. I can't wait to watch this. Suthius then follows up and writes, will you be managing Philippe and his microphone buddies on a nationwide tour? Don't laugh. You'll put bodies in the seats, no doubt. I'm a little busy with my show to do managing duties. I'll see if I can hire somebody else. Maybe Alvin and the Chipmunks can take them out with them. Nerd Guy writes, Luke got snapped by Thanos, so he's back now. I kid you not. Hold a second. Let me see if I can find this. I'm not sure if I can or not, but let me see if I can. I put this up earlier today. Let me see if I can find it. I should be able to find it no problem. Because great minds. I was thinking along the same lines as you here. I made this, and I just put the caption on it, thank you, Hulk. Get it? Snap. Luke's back. I put that up on my Twitter earlier today. So, great minds, sir. Great minds. Luke got snapped by Thanos, so he's back now. There we go. Okay, Film Chris writes, are you excited for Hobbs and Shaw? Looks fun. I am. Well, I was excited about it just in theory. I'm a big Jason Statham fan. I like the Shaw character. I like the Hobbs character very much. Obviously, I'm a big fan of The Rock. You've got the director, a great action director on board with it. And then I've loved the trailers, and they showed us a big chunk of it, not a big chunk of it, but they showed us some segments of it at CinemaCon last month. I'm very excited about it. I'm not expecting the greatest action movie of all time, but I'm expecting a really good, fun time. So yes, sir, I am quite excited for it. All right, Suthius writes, thoughts on traditional theaters turned into cinemas. There's one near me. It's immaculate and gorgeous, but the seats are horrible. Only $3. So wait, if it's $3, got nothing to complain about. If they're only charging you $3 for a seat, then we got nothing to complain about. That's perfectly good by my books. Hey, I've gone to a number of things here, like the Dolby Theater where they hold the Oscars. I've gone to premieres there where they make it into a movie theater, and I see nothing wrong with that. I mean, yeah, maybe the chairs aren't all that comfortable, and I hate it when the chairs aren't comfortable, but if they're going to charge you $3, I can put up with a good chair. And look, it all depends on the venue. Some venues I'm sure works better than others, but in general, I got no problem with it. I actually think it'd be kind of fun. All right, DJ Tidus writes, what do you think about an Enemy Mine reboot with Mahershala Ali as Jerry and say Chris Pratt as Davidge? I think that pairing alone prints money. Your thoughts? Okay, well, first of all, DJ, I don't generally like to take what do you think about X actor in X role questions, because I don't care. Like, name a good actor, then I'm all for it. If it's a good actor, that's all I care about. Don't care if they're famous, big, whatever. If it's a talented actor, that's all I care about. So generally speaking, I don't take X actor in X role questions. But I will say this. What makes you think Mahershala Ali being in a movie equals printing money? Show me some box office results that justifies that. Chris Pratt has been in a few movies, but you take out the Marvel label and you take out the famous Jurassic World label. You know, he was in the movie Delivery Man. Did that make big box office? Nope. He was in a couple movies. Did they make big box office? No. So I don't know that having Mahershala Ali and Chris Pratt or anybody today, even The Rock. I mean, you put The Rock in a questionable movie like that High Rise movie he just did. It didn't guarantee big box office. You just don't get it that way. So, and look, I really like Enemy Mine. I think that's a really good movie. I don't know if it translates well today. Star Trek The Next Generation kind of did an Enemy Mine episode of their own. I can't remember. Ecock and Gerard at Tanagra, something like that. Anyway, but so I'd be for a remake, period, but I don't care which actors they put in the role. As long as they're good actors, that's all I care about. All right. Lone Wolf X6 writes, Oliver Queen, no, I am the original Vigilante Barry. I'm not really quite sure what that's a reference. I mean, obviously it's the Arrowverse, but I'm not quite sure what that's a direct reference to. Yoda writes, John, love your show. Thank you so much. Rob, I really hate you. I'll make sure he knows that. You mentioned a Yoda hot toy. I checked it out and pre-ordered the new one. Bought old one on eBay yesterday. Nice. That's great. Look, Rob is the king of the 1/6 scale figures. He is the king of these things. And always listen to his recommendations. If he's talking hot toys and 1/6 scale figures, he's the guy you want to listen to. So good on you for getting that, Yoda. Do me a favor, when you do get it, back is itchy. When you do get it, do me a favor and email me a picture. I'd love to see a picture of it. All right, let's move on here. Doshi writes, rumor Picard show scheduled for November, same time as The Mandalorian. Is that a bad idea? Should they change dates for Picard if true? Hashtag justice for R2D2. No. Lots of big shows, lots of big television shows are on at the same time all the time. This isn't like the movie theater where there's only a certain number of screens to play. People only have so much money to spend, blah, blah, blah. Television's a bit different. There are 6 or 7 shows that I watch right now. So no, honestly, Doshi, I don't think there's any problem whatsoever having 2 big shows releasing around the same time. That's perfectly fine. People can watch one night and watch another the other night. It's not like they have to get a babysitter, drive to a movie theater where they only have so many screens and they got to divvy up the screen. It's not like that. The television stuff, totally different beast. So I don't think there's anything wrong. No problem with that whatsoever. It's not going to be a problem for anybody at all on any level. All right. Suthius writes, I love the overarching villain of Thawne in Flash. I do too. I have loved the Eobard Thawne character right from season 1 of Flash. I like that they can continuously make him the underpinning, if you will, on the villainous side for the show, even when they cycle through other villains and stuff like that. I've really liked that about them. CJ Adams writes, over under 5% MCU Phase 4 has a slice of life like film. I don't know what we're talking about, CJ. I don't know what a slice of life like film is. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Sorry about that, dude. Film Chris writes, is it weird that Ragnarok is my favorite MCU film? Not at all. It's great. It's a thoroughly entertaining film, and you're not the only person I've heard say that's their favorite film. So no, sir, not weird at all. Film Chris follows up with, have you seen the first season show You? Love it. Never heard of it. I've never heard of it, so no, I have not seen that yet, but I'll have to put that on my radar and see if I can look into that a little bit. All right, guys, that will do it for today's installment of the companion videos. We are now all caught up. Thank you, everybody, for sending in those questions, because you've given us some great fun stuff to talk about, and you supported the channel at the same time, so thank you very much for that. Don't forget, guys, the John Campea Show returns again tomorrow. Me and Rob will be here. We've already started working right now on this monitor over here on a number of the cool news stories we're going to be talking about tomorrow and topics for us to discuss. Make sure you guys come on back and join us then. All right, guys, that'll do it for me for now. My name's John Campea, and until our next video, bye-bye.